Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Hogan. Drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go. All I want to say is this, all right? Thank you all for being very patient with everything going on right now. It's been a wild month, especially with this trolling in the last week and a half. Right now, matter-of-factly, you know, my revenue this month is way down, mostly because of this trolling and these fake memberships. Because basically people who normally would become members or renew their existing memberships got gifted a membership that was essentially free. So I'm out a lot of revenue this month. With the new releases coming out, a great way to help out me and this channel would be to either legitimately become a member, legitimately gift a membership to somebody else, or a super chat or a super sticker, or if you watch these videos on demand on YouTube, a super thanks on any video helps a ton, or a tip. You could find the tips link in the description of all of my videos and every stream. That would help a lot too.
You know, I had this thought the other day when I was listening to this exact segment, and I can't really believe that I didn't think about it before, but this entire membership arc with the gifted memberships from Argentina doesn't actually make any sense. And by it doesn't make any sense, I mean, yes, he is getting way cheaper memberships given out to his community, and it probably is hurting his bottom line. But we've always known that the majority of DSP's memberships have been gifted anyway. So if the people who were gifting those memberships to support the channel know that they can no longer give memberships to all of these people because they essentially already have memberships, why wouldn't they just tip instead? In fact, that would probably be a more acceptable way to support the channel if you follow DSP's logic, because then YouTube doesn't have to take their cut, only PayPal does. I mean, stop me if I'm dented, but it appears to me that all of the gifted memberships could just shift over into tip money and it would be a net positive for DSP.
Consider maybe a Patreon pledge over at patreon.com/darksidephil. There's just so many ways that you could contribute and help. Hey, join YouTube Premium, because if you join YouTube Premium and you watch any of my content, I get the credit as if you watched ads on my content. That's something you don't even actively have to do anything. You're just are part of it and watch content like you normally would, and it helps me out. All right, so
I'll never get over how blatantly he shills YouTube Premium. The way that he says that you don't actually have to do anything, you just have to watch content like you usually do and he gets paid for the ads is kind of a misrepresentation of what's happening, because you already paid YouTube the money. In fact, you already paid YouTube more money than you would have to pay DSP to get a membership, even if you didn't buy an Argentinian style membership. And he's always going on about how terrible the ad revenue money is, but then he insists that people go and get YouTube Premium just so that he can make that little bit of ad revenue. If it's that bad, DSP, why are you dying to get it so bad? Why are you telling people to get YouTube Premium? Why are you going out of your way to get the watch hours and partnered on DSP throwbacks? It's akin to him telling you how poor the service and food is at a restaurant, and then doing everything within his power to make sure that he eats there every single weekend. And yes, that restaurant is obviously a sandwich shop, since I've been doing y'all dirty without having these sandwich analogies. That's why I changed the clothes.
any of those things are tremendous. I mean, here's honestly what I'm hoping. I'm really hoping this next week with the new releases, things pick up. That, you know, viewership, support, everything picks up. Because right now, if the month were to end today, I'd be pretty much in a really bad way next month. All right? So I'm hoping that things do pick up in the next week. And again, this isn't anyone's fault. This is because of idiots using an exploit and screwing everything up for me. And I'm hoping that things will pick up again.
If the month ended right now, he'd be in a really bad way. This was recorded on January 24th, and if you didn't know, January has 31 days. I think that if you cut anybody's pay period several days short, that they would probably also be in a pretty bad way. And I don't necessarily mean they would be in a bad way like they would be going homeless, but they would definitely notice the difference. I get paid weekly, and if you cut one of my days out of the week and then gave me my check, I would definitely notice that it was short, even though it was only the one day. So DSP trying to cut the month several days short and telling you that he would be in a bad way, that doesn't actually mean anything. That's a normal thing to happen to normal style people. And that's especially true for DSP, given the fact that he gets memberships and tips and super chats and all of the, ways to support the channel every single day. So by cutting these several days off, you're absolutely misrepresenting this situation. And how does he go from saying that it's nobody's fault that he's in this situation to saying that it's all the trolls' fault because they're giving out these fake memberships? Or rather, illegitimate memberships, simply because he didn't receive the amount of money he thinks that he deserves for his trash-ass content. I don't know if this was his way of saying that the trolls were nobodies, or if he doesn't have a firm grasp on the English language. I'm more inclined to believe the latter, in all honesty. We know how DSP uses the English language, and it's not exactly, well.
If you were someone who normally would buy a membership, and you didn't because you were gifted one, please consider contributing in another way, all right? I gotta keep things going around here. I gotta keep the bills paid, and this is a problem right now, okay? All right. What I'd like to do now is talk about the solution that I found out in regards to DSP React. Fair enough, because this is a good one. So for those, again, who might not know, I guess you've been living under a rock, DSP React has been in a state of limbo ever since Sunday. Why? Well, because when I did my React show on Sunday, all right, this idiot troll who's been using a VPN and tons of fake accounts came on to DSP Reacts during the React show and gifted like 400 fake memberships.
So the real reason we're here today is so that we can talk about DSP's solution to the Argentinian problem. But of course, before we can actually get to that, DSP has to run you through the entire story all over again and re-explain exactly what's going on, as if nobody knows what he's talking about, even though he's talked about it pretty much every single day since it happened. God, the amount of wasted time on a DSP stream is astronomical. But even when he's wasting everybody's time and retelling the same old story, every once in a while you get a little bit of information that you didn't quite catch before. And this time it's him representing the situation as if it's only one person doing this with a VPN and that they have a ton of sock accounts. Of course, I think this is wild speculation and that DSP doesn't actually know whether it's one or many different people doing this to him, but I do think that it's interesting that his first instinct is to blame it on one person, as if he didn't explain to his entire audience and therefore all of the troll channels simultaneously exactly how you can buy Argentinian memberships through YouTube and a VPN. But telling everybody exactly how to do it was such a good idea then that he actually just went out of his way and told you again that you could do it through a VPN, and that's pretty much all it takes. And I want to take a second to acknowledge some of the dents in the chat because they are just something else. Cream Sardine at the bottom here saying DSP took down Comcast, is YouTube next? Yeah, he totally took down Comcast, dude. They went bankrupt, they're out of business, no one uses Comcast anymore thanks to DSP. Big ups. Gabe talking about having 3 legit memberships to the 3 DSP channels, making him feel powerful. That's a super dent right there. I can't believe anybody would waste their money supporting DSP to begin with, but to waste it 3 times on 3 separate channels. That's just next level stupidity. And to think all of that support went directly into Scopely's bank account, so I guess big ups for paying the Scopely devs money, bro.
Now, are they really fake? No, they're legit when it comes to the features you get, but they're not legit when it comes to revenue. I make nothing on them. So again, I have to basically compare this to, like, imagine you're running a business, right? And it's a restaurant. And you have all your regular customers coming in, enjoying your food, rating it highly. Everyone loves it. And then you got some guy who comes in and says, I have the right to eat everything in your restaurant for free. And you're like, what? Yeah, and there's nothing you can do about it. And he walks in and he just grabs all the food and eats it. And there's nothing you can't stop him, and he walks out the door. That's literally what's going on right now.
No, but that's not exactly what's going on right now at all. Hold on. Let me change clothes yet again to do another sandwich analogy. Yes, 2-in-1 video. Okay, so now that we're here, it's actually like if you owned a sandwich shop, and usually you have all of your paying customers that pay full price to get their sandwiches. But then a customer comes in who happens to be from a different part of the world, so they get special pricing because their economics in their country are just different. And maybe this person is just such a kind Samaritan, he wants to buy everybody's sandwich for them, being that he is paying a significantly discounted price. Usually you would think, oh, what a good Samaritan, he's trying to help the community by paying for their sandwich sandwiches. And this isn't an uncommon act in your sandwich shop. In fact, it's very typical that some large patron will come through and pay for everybody else's sandwiches. Like I said at the beginning, while this might be hurting his bottom line now because he's not making the proper amount of money per sandwich, the typical patrons that come through and do the exact same act but at a higher price should still be coming through, realizing everybody is eating a sandwich, and continue to support a different way since there is more avenues to support. They might buy you some sandwich making supplies behind the scenes to make sure that you can continue to make these sandwiches that they love, or they might shove all of that money they usually use to pay for these people's sandwiches directly into your tip jar so that you can take it home in cash. I believe that's a far more accurate representation of the situation than whatever the hell DSP just said. I guess we just have to be thankful that DSP never really got to open that restaurant that he used to talk about wanting to open. Because for those who don't know the lore, back in the day, DSP really did used to say that he wanted to make all of his YouTube money, save it up, and then open a restaurant instead. But given how bad his restaurant analogies actually are, thank God he never did that.
Like, these people should not have the right to be purchasing memberships for less than a penny each. But they found a YouTube exploit, and YouTube has not fixed it, okay? So because of that, could it put me out of business? No, but basically this show, DSP versus the Internet, that I do every week, hinges on memberships. The way it works is, you become a member, and then members can nominate clips for the show, and we have a playlist of 30, 40, 50, up to 100 clips that we've had before. I hit random, select, it shuffles the playlist, and we just watch them in random order, and that's the show. Now imagine overnight, you get from between 30 to 50 clips, and now you get 500 clips instead, right? Already I can tell you, it takes me about half an hour, 45 minutes just alone to make that playlist. Can you imagine if I had to do it 10 times? Do I have 5 hours in a day to do that? No.
Well, I hate to tell you this, DSP, but you don't need 5 consecutive hours in one day to put this playlist together. You can do it gradually throughout the week. I thought that was one of the reasons why you post up the video submissions thread so early, so that you could do it slowly throughout the week. But we all know that this is a lie anyway. You absolutely have time throughout the week. You can find the time. You waste so much of it taking 30-minute bathroom breaks, constantly walking off camera while you're doing your pre-stream, doing an hour-and-a-half to 2-hour pre-stream every single day where you repeat the same things all of the time. You are the prime example of bad time management skills, which is something that I thought that they would have taught you when you were getting your business degree in college. Being that business owners and operators have to have some fantastic time management skills to continue to run their business as optimally as possible.
And in addition, you know you're going to get a ton of troll submissions when most of these are gifted memberships, right? These are not positive, invested people. These are people who just handed a membership. Oh, now you have the ability to do this. That was definitely never the intention of the show, all right? In addition, it's not fair to those who paid full price. Again, imagine you're in a restaurant and you sit down to eat a crazy roasted turkey dinner, and you get charged $30 for that dinner, and then someone else sits down next to you and has the same exact roasted turkey dinner, and they're charged 1 penny for it. Oh, well, that's just how it works here.
But again, this analogy is just terrible because typically when you go to a restaurant, you don't go around asking everybody how much they paid for their food in comparison to yours. There is actually no way to find out how much these people are paying for your memberships until you tell them. And unfortunately for you, you made it public for everybody to know that they were paying pennies to the dollar. So it's more akin to running a sandwich shop and the owner coming around and telling you what everybody else paid for the sandwich that you ate and how much more you paid as opposed to them, and then telling them that there's nothing that you could do and that they're getting screwed. Jesus, we're going crazy with the sandwiches today. Shout out all of my sandwich enjoyers.
That doesn't make sense. What makes me want to come back and spend $30 for this turkey dinner if you can get it for a penny? That's not equivalent. That's not fair. And that's what's going to happen on DSP Reacts is if this continues where people get the ability to nominate the clips for free while they have to pay for it, they're not going to keep paying for it anymore, and the whole show's going to fall apart, right?
But if they quit paying for their memberships, they then become a non-member, which means that they will wind up getting a gifted membership from an Argentinian style whale. So it's not like these people are just going to disappear. They're just going to get a free membership eventually. Or rather free adjacent, because DSP is receiving some sort of income from it, just not a whole lot.
So, that being said, all right, I need to redesign the channel and the show. And we were talking about various ways to do it over the week. The thing is, initially it looked like I was going to have everyone cancel everything. Like every membership was going to have to be canceled, and I was going to have to create new membership tiers and do all this stuff to fix it. The good news is that's not the case. And I want to give a humongous shout out to Overpowered Boone. Last night he was researching YouTube memberships, and he found the solution. And I was like, this is perfect, and I can't believe I didn't know about this. There was no way I could have known about it, because the thing is, the only way you would have known about this solution is if you were a member of a channel already, you were a paying member, and you were messing around with membership levels, okay? So here's the solution. On YouTube, if you were already an existing member of any channel at any level, and you want to upgrade to a higher level, YouTube gives you a prorated upgrade discount. I didn't know that at all, okay? So the way it works is, for example, let's say you're already a member on DSP Reacts at the $3.99 standard member level. Well, if I do a new level now, all you have to pay is the difference between the two. And then you get that next level for a month.
I'm sure the dents are just jumping up and down with glee right now, DSP, because that just means that they have to pay the $2.99 this month, and then next month they have to pay the $6.99. It's truly a crazy and robust style solution to the problem.
I didn't know that, okay? So basically, instead of having to cancel standard memberships, cancel super memberships, make new member tiers, convince everyone to move from one tier to the other, and do this big process of moving that was going to be a nightmare, all I needed to do was make a new membership tier that was priced above $5, so that way it cannot be gifted out by the trolls, and just tell everyone you have to be part of that group in order to nominate clips. And that's it. So that's what I've done. As of this morning, I've created a new membership tier on DSP Reacts. It is called the Submissions tier. It costs $5.99 in order to become part of it. If you are already a standard member, like many of you are right now, because you either were already paying or you got a gifted membership in the last week, it costs you $2 to upgrade. That's it. $2. And you get the membership for the whole month.
So I misspoke. It's not $6.99, it's actually $5.99, but I'm not going to go back and re-record that. I'm just going to let you all know that I misspoke because I'm a regard. But I know that I only talked about the Argentinian heist once, so for those of you who are confused as to why he couldn't just make a separate lower tier that would be gifted out as gifted memberships, it's because when you use a foreign currency like that, it automatically defaults to the highest level membership below $5. So even if he made a membership tier that only costs $1, it still wouldn't be gifting those out. It would be gifting out the higher membership that is still below $5, which is why he has priced this new tier, this new submission tier, at $5.99. So it's above the threshold it can no longer be gifted, which could be detrimental for DSP's audience given how many gifted memberships there actually are on the channel. People like Derek, his biggest super fan that I can think of, will no longer be eligible to nominate clips for DSP Reacts, simply because he refuses to give DSP any money, which is very strange to me, being that he is now an adult that does have a job that pays him, you know, money.
Okay? So a $2 upgrade gets you the ability to nominate clips for the show moving forward. And then that's for a whole month. So essentially, you as the viewer get a discount for the next month. Because normally it would be $4. Now you only have to pay $2. So you get a discount. How's that? That's crazy, right? The thing is, I'm going to take a hit. Because all those people that would have been paying $4 are now only going to be paying $2 for the next month. So I'm going to take like a 50% income hit on DSP Reacts for the next month, and there's nothing I can do about it. That's directly because of this idiot troll. Okay?
And I'll move over to the side so that you can continue to read the chat, because there's obviously an uproar, because DSP is spinning this $2 upgrade as though it's some sort of miracle and it's absolutely crazy. What a steal, right? For only $2 you get to upgrade. But this is for people who already paid their $3.99 membership. So this additional $2 is simply to make up for the rest of the amount of money that a new membership is going to cost them. This is not some sort of discount. This is actually DSP just charging all of these people essentially $2 more for the exact same thing. Sleepy Squid in chat even said this is some real Pokimane cookie talk right here. I mean, leave it to DSP to try and convince people that paying $2 more to him every month is a net positive for you.
But what a better way to do this because I don't have to cancel anything. So now that standard membership just stays. And all that standard membership is, you get emotes, you get a chat crown badge, you don't have to follow slow mode in the chat. That's your benefits at the standard level. If you join at the submissions level, which is $5.99 a month, now you get all that, plus you get to submit 2 clips a week. That'll go into the randomized playlist and the chance to be on DSP versus the internet. If you become the super member, which is $9.99 a month, you get all of that below, plus you get to submit questions for Q&A, and those will be answered live on the show every week. And then if you do the ultra member, which is $19.99 a month, you get to nominate 4 clips, 1 a week, and each one is guaranteed to be watched on the show.
So there's a couple important takeaways in that little segment right there. The first and most important is that DSP didn't have to cancel the already existing standard memberships, which is a great thing for DSP because I'm sure that he's well aware that there are people who are paying for memberships in a similar vein to paying for Patreon that have no idea that they're still paying or just straight up don't care. They don't utilize the perks that they're paying for and don't show up to the streams anymore, so it's basically free money for DSP. And that's the real reason that this was a whole problem to begin with, is DSP was deathly afraid of having to cancel all of those memberships knowing that he was going to lose a significant portion of people who were just paying and never showing up. The second takeaway there is that he's now including Q&A in his membership tier rewards, which is just absurd given the fact that you can ask DSP any question in the chat pretty much at any time for free and he's likely to respond to it given how dead his chat usually is. So paying to get a question is just kind of a waste of money to begin with. Not to mention that this was kind of done before. That's why he used to do Ask the King. You used to become a patron member and then you would get your question answered on Ask the King. So similar to everything else that DSP does, this is essentially just a repackaged version of something that he used to offer already. This is not a new idea. We might be living in 2024 right now, but DSP is just repackaging ideas from a decade ago. And his dents are sure to fall for it because they just believe everything that he says. Well, the honest and true dents.
And that's how it's going to work moving forward. And Preem Sardine says, what stops someone from gifting the new submission tier? You can't. It's impossible. You cannot gift at that tier. When gift tiers come in, they come in at whatever is $5 or less. So when people gift, they're only going to be gifting the standard tier. Because I priced it at $5.99, it is omitted from being gifted. That's how it works on YouTube. On Twitch, it's different. On Twitch, you can pick and gift the different tiers. You can't do that on YouTube. So because of that, this is safe from the trolling.
So this solution is honestly only temporary because I imagine at some point YouTube will give you the ability to pick which memberships you are gifting out, just like you can on Twitch. So whenever that happens and becomes a feature, just keep this in mind, all of my Argentinian detractors. While your plans may be foiled today, there is always a new day. Just let this be a lesson in patience.
Does this start today, someone asked? It's already live. It's already live. And I've already posted up the threads by which you can post up clips for Sunday's DSP versus the internet. How about them apples? And people already have. People already have posted up their clips. And people have posted up more. And I'm approving them right here. Cool. So there you have it, folks. We found the solution. Everything is set. We are good to go. All right? So I'm happy about this. I hope that you are too. Right? This is all good stuff. So thank you all for being very, very patient. Okay? Very, very patient on this. Really, I appreciate that. And thank you all for listening. And thank you all for putting up with the nonsense, right? I'm very happy that you have. Sadly, you know, this was an annoying process for sure, and there was nothing I could really do about it. But as of now, we should be good. Okay? So thank you very much in advance, you know. Now, someone is already asking, would I ever change it again? We got to see what happens with YouTube. You know, this is all YouTube's fault. This is all YouTube's fault for allowing this, for being complacent and allowing it and not caring. Because people have known about this exploit for a while. It's only come to light on my channels in the last couple of weeks, but people have known about this on YouTube for like a year and a half. It's YouTube's fault. They got to fix it, and I can't make them. All right? If eventually they do fix it, right? Then maybe we could change it and have, like, the way I see it, no one's going to join at standard tier. The only people who are going to get standard tier are gifted, right? That's it. Who's going to join at standard tier just to get emotes? They want the ability to submit clips for the show, and you can't get that at standard tier. So it's essentially just a crappy, useless tier. But it's there just because it's there, right? And I'm not going to delete it and then people lose their memberships that they were gifted and stuff. So, eventually I'd like to go back down to the amount of levels we had. So what can you do, right?
So now that DSP has increased the price on the membership tier that allows you to have submissions to DSP Reacts, I honestly doubt that he will ever go back down in price. Because honestly, why would he? It's more money for DSP from his biggest dents. And I believe that at some point, it might even be in this clip in just a few seconds if I were to let him cook, but I didn't let him, that he says he intends on going back down at some point if YouTube fixes this problem. But even then, I honestly can't see it happening just because DSP is who he is, and the only thing that he cares about is money. So why would he give himself less money per month from his dents?
What? People are now saying ridiculous things in the chat that don't even make sense, so I'm just going to ignore them. What's stopping trolls from filling up gifted memberships so other viewers can't buy the new tier? What does that even mean? What you just said is complete nonsense. It doesn't exist. Anyway. Yeah. So is he trying to bait me? There's no bait there. It doesn't even make sense what he said. Right. If they really... He's misunderstanding it. Is that what it is? Oh, I can't. Oh, he thinks you can't upgrade? You can upgrade. Of course. Whatever. Anyway, so there you go, folks.
What a strange interaction for a streamer to have with their chat. He starts by outright shitting on this person and he doesn't even understand the question or what they're asking. And instead of approaching that from a reasonable standpoint of asking what they mean and if they can reword it or if somebody can explain to him what they're trying to say, he immediately goes to shitting on them. And then he spends a significant amount of time looking at chat. So when people start explaining or trying to explain what the guy is talking about, DSP of course reads that and has to respond to that as well, realizing that maybe he's screwed up here, but then just winds up giving up at the end of the day because we've spent far too much time on this one person already. We gotta move on, dude. Like I said, just a very strange encounter for DSP to be having with his chat.
Yeah, thank you to anyone who put up with this in the last week. Please, if you were a supporter of that channel, please upgrade to the submissions tier so we can get the show going. The more, already people are posting up clips, which is great, but now we have a situation where we need people to do the upgrade and start posting clips, because if people don't post clips for Sunday, the show's gonna suck, right? Ultra members are exactly the same as always and can post up their clips easily, no problem, right? That hasn't changed. It's really the standard members now who have to become the submission tier for a $2 upgrade, and then they'll be able to do that, and basically they're getting a discount for a month, right? Which is crazy. So yes, please do that. And thank you for being paid. I am so happy, really. I am so happy that I did not jump the gun and cancel membership tiers like I said I was going to. Because number one, that would have just caused mass confusion. People would have been upset that they paid for a membership that doesn't exist anymore. And also, the whole Q&A thing, right? The whole Q&A thing, hopefully that's not a big deal either, right? Now it stays the same. Yeah, see, people are saying is, well, what if gifted members upgrade for $2? Yeah, they could do that. And then the next month it's $6. You see? It's not $2 forever. It's $2 for the upgrade. And then next month when it recurs, it's $6.
So right here, he is acknowledging that all of these members are going to have to pay their $6 come next month. So all of that hyping up of getting a pro rate of only $2 to upgrade was all just a show. He very much understands that everybody is going to be paying more money come next month when they have to renew their membership. All he was doing was selling. And I personally have no love for salesmen. This is not any hate on anybody who happens to be a salesman in the audience. But I don't appreciate being sold to, and I don't think a lot of other people like it either. If the product is good and well put together and worth their money, typically people can see the value and are willing to pay what they think is appropriate. If you're trying to sell something to me, I am immediately suspicious.
So essentially for 1 month, I'm going to kind of be screwed if people decide to upgrade. I'm going to lose money. I'm going to make half as much because normally it's $4 per membership. Now I'm only going to get 2. So my revenue for DSP Reacts is going to dip like this for this month. And there's nothing I can do about that. But once it goes to the renewal, there you go. Now it's back to, you know, it's $6 to keep it going. So there you go. Oh yeah, to be clear, nothing is changing with memberships on this channel. Nothing will change with Throwback channel. Everything's the same. I'm not going to bother changing anything on these channels because, again, nothing was ever based on memberships on this channel or on the Throwback channel. We got rid of the member goals for events a long time ago. And, you know, there's no show where you can buy into the show by being a member here. I'm actually very happy I never did it. You know, a lot of YouTubers do that. Tons of YouTubers have their revenue and all their content based off memberships. Can you imagine if I did?
If he got rid of his goals based off of memberships a while ago, I'm confused as to why he left it up on the leaderboards as if it actually meant anything to anybody and was relevant or necessary for people to continue to see on screen all day, every day. Also, I guess big ups DSP for being totally different and not like other girls, because he didn't see the value in growing his community via memberships and therefore making part of his content about memberships. His unmatched greed allowed him to form his entire business strategy around you sending money directly into his pocket, or rather directly into his PayPal, which goes directly into his pocket. Not like those other content creators that want to continue to make content and grow their community so that they can continue to have fun making the content that they make with more people watching.
And then this exploit was found, it might destroy my whole business. So I'm very happy that I didn't do that. I swear, I get lucky as shit all the time. This is a situation where for some reason I didn't really base a lot off of memberships, and my God, did it save my ass right now. Because could you imagine if most of my income was memberships, and then this happened? Like, I'd be completely assed out right now. So again, I'm kind of lucky in this regard, okay?
And while I appreciate DSP acknowledging his luck in this scenario, he never really acknowledges that luck is the only thing that's carried him through his entire 13-year career on YouTube doing content creation. I mean, from the very beginning, he has been doing nothing but getting lucky every step of the way. Because had anybody else acted and behaved and made the choices that DSP has made while he's been on YouTube and doing online content creation in general, they absolutely would not still be doing this and would have to have found a real job long ago. But DSP year after year continues to push through, and that's why they call him a roach. More specifically, a pig roach, because despite everything that DSP's been through, he continues to push on and outlive content creator after content creator, even though these other content creators are so much better at making content than him. But before we end for today's episode, because this clip is over, there is a couple of more clips that spawned throughout the week from this entire ordeal of him increasing the price of the memberships. So of course, shout out to Snort Hogan for these couple of clips as well. Big ups, brother.
Sarah says she cannot afford the more expensive membership. You cannot afford $5.99 versus $3.99. Well, if you really, really can't, I'm certainly not going to complain. I'm not so sure about that. I don't know if I believe you that you're telling me that something you pay $3.99 for now that you can't pay $5.99 for to get the same thing plus added benefits because a troll is trying to ruin the channel. I have a hard time believing that. I'm sorry, I really do. But maybe you can't scrounge up the $2. That's okay then. Obviously, I can't force anyone to do anything, but I told you that's my concern. My concern is people don't like change. And it's been like this for a year, and it works, and people are used to it, and now I'm being forced into a change I don't want to do. I don't want to do that change, and I'm being forced, and that sucks. So right there, there's an example. I almost feel like there's going to be people who are going to say, well, I just can't do it. It's like, well, can you really not do it? Or you just not want to do it, right? Because you're afraid, you don't like change. You don't want to have to pay more. I hear you. I don't want you to pay more. You know what I mean? It fucking sucks. It's these pieces of shit ruining everything that I have set up here. You know what I mean?
I find it absolutely disgusting and deplorable that he just laughed in somebody's face because they told him that they couldn't afford the additional $2 that it would cost to become a member on DSP Reacts. And it's even more disgusting that he starts to question them on whether or not they actually can't do it or that they are unwilling because they don't like change and don't want to pay more. It's really none of his business either way. If they can't or they won't, it doesn't matter. But then he starts to talk down to them because people are so against change and they just aren't willing to do the thing because it's different. It's because you're trying to take more money out of these people, DSP. It's the same exact reason that a bunch of people have canceled their streaming memberships. Where someone may have once seen a value for their money in a service, once you start increasing the price, eventually they will quit seeing that value and deem it as not worth it. Not that I think a DSP Reacts membership was ever worth it, but for the people who did, maybe they don't see these new upgraded style perks as worth the additional $2 upcharge. But DSP doesn't care about that. All he cares about is whether or not he's making money. So he'll pour shame you into oblivion. Absolutely disgusting. And there's one last short clip right here on the tail end.
Okay? So, please consider. What's funny is Zen Shuriken says, of course he's worried. That's thousands of dollars a year. Zen Shuriken, that's thousands of dollars a month. A month. That's what I mean. I just said I'm down 37%. That's thousands of dollars that I need to pay my bills that I'm not making now because of this idiot.
So DSP just publicly acknowledged that 37% of his memberships are thousands of dollars a month. And of course he needs all of that money to pay his bills, dude. He's got 2 big bills coming up every single week, week after week. I just want you to sit back and fathom the spending addiction that you would have to make multiple thousands of dollars a month and still be living paycheck to paycheck like DSP claims that he is. 37% is thousands of dollars. If anybody was out thousands of dollars in the span of a month, they would be on the brink of homelessness as a normal style individual. But that is only 37% to DSP, and he's wasting all of that money every single month. That is absolutely insane, and I can't even begin to imagine spending that kind of money on what is essentially nothing, because you will never get anything for all of those sweaty JPEGs. They have zero real-world value. And this is at the same time that he's got multiple bathrooms in his house that just straight up don't work. He's got a cat, Agent Declawed, who still needs his blood work. Hashtag justice for Jasper. I just can't believe that people continue to funnel money into this man's bank account so he can waste all of it on pictures online. But that's it for today. Shout out Snort Hogan for all 3 of the clips in this one. I really appreciate it, brother. As always, thank you. Big ups everybody who watched, especially if you made it this far. And of course, a special shout out to all of my members. I really appreciate all of you guys. I promise I'm not increasing the price like DSP. Big ups. But hopefully I'll catch all of you guys in the next video. But until then, make sure that you check out other detractor channels and dive deeper into that. Snortex.